Hello and welcome to episode 34 of our Timberborn Update 6 Waterbeavers playthrough here in Cycle 40, Day 1. We did a lot of stuff last episode. A whole lot of stuff. And there is plenty more to be done, so don't worry. We're not going to run out of anything to do anytime soon. But the most important thing we got accomplished last episode was getting the Tree Nursery. Of course, I clicked on this and it highlighted the bamboo. Getting the Tree Nursery in place and starting to grow some unbelievably tall bamboo. Also planted some giant sequoias, but as I kind of feared, the pollution from all of this bad water here is going to kill 3 of the 5 that we ended up planting. And, you know, that's just the way it goes. I also thought it was very funny how... come on, let me click on this, please. There we go. This one is still growing, despite, you know, the terrain underneath not even remotely being close to finished. But it came back on reload, so I'm gonna just assume this is fine. We obviously still have plenty that we need to take care of, so this shouldn't really be something we're worrying about, but you know how it goes. At least this is working. We also have domesticated brambles that are marked for planting, so they should not spread. If we unmark them for planting, then I've been told they will. So for right now, we're just going to leave these guys here and not worry about it. This lumberjack flag will continue to cut these guys down at some point, and we'll slowly grow this as we have time. Now, there were so many people who left comments about the dynamite for this thing, insisting that I had made a terrible mistake. So, let's go over this piece by piece, because I do know where some spots have been inadvertently just completely screwed up. The barrier on this side and this side is actually fine. However, you are correct. I only need 4 wide, and now there's 5 here. So this does not need to be here. 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 This and this both do not need to be here. So you were correct. But for some reason, in my mind's eye, I had seen this bit here as being the only one that could have possibly been in conflict, and of course there was nothing here. So like, well, that's not right, but it was, and you were correct. So, single dynamite, double, triple, quadruple here, which is going to get us to the same level as this triple because this is higher, and this is where this turns around here. Yes, we could put in ladders, and I have done this in the past. We could put in ladders to get all the way down, and we could build multiple storages this way, but we don't really have the materials to be building ladders like that, at least not yet. So for the time being, this little stairway access and then this 3x3 at the exact same depth is exactly what we need, and that is what will be built once this gets taken care of. But there's still plenty of other stuff we want to do today, and I'm going to do my best to hit as many things as I said I actually would. So let's start over here. There was some discussion about planting some trees and things over here, and I think that would be a great idea. We just have to irrigate this space, and right now that is not super high on my list of priorities. However, what we can do is continue building just tanks for everything, and this would be a tremendously good spot for us to put in something like bad water storage. Just so these guys here in these mushroom growers have better access to that, and we can slowly speed up the process of making the brain-stimulating mushrooms, which of course get used to make a bunch of things in here. So, it's on my radar. It's not super high up, but it is there, and I do appreciate you guys bringing that to my attention. It's like 80% of the comments on the last video were about this, so I do appreciate you guys bringing that up. So yes, these giant sequoias have died. This one has just been replanted, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be killed, which is weird. But maybe that's because there's substantially more clean water in here now, and it's, you know, fighting for it. Maybe. I'm not going to ask questions. This is fine. This is only 4% grown. This is, of course, a 0%, and this is only 3%. So it's not. We're not going to see these this episode. No chance. Next episode, maybe not even. But we are growing them, and that's what matters. The giant logs are very, 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 very important, and we will need them for many mid and late game things. But, of course, to make use of them, we have to have the advanced sawmill, which is a, you know, we actually probably could build this right now, minus the giant logs. But the requirements to make this aren't really that insane. But it takes 1,000 HP, which means we really, really need to beef up our power production. And currently the only real way we have to do that is with water wheels, because, like we've said, the nuclear reactors require a degree from the ENS, which we still have not made, despite this being episode 34. And we've made really good progress toward it. We just don't have the science, which is something we probably need to make sure is being done. And probably should check on how many of these library books we have. I see 96 here, but the truth of the matter is we have 109 in storage here, so I think that means these guys have been busy. Let's put this back on efficient science production. We might actually have extra library books. But yeah, they're going to start emptying this out into this screw press as soon as I say, hey, it's time to make library books into incredibly compact library sets, and they say, okay, and then they start doing it. But we'd been in such tremendous need for sunflower oil that I hadn't really bothered to get into that. But if we can get the incredibly compact library set ready to go this episode, which I don't think is unreasonable, we're going to be really close to getting the ENS, and if we can keep the library supplied with everything that it needs to make science, then, friends, we could possibly, very possibly, research and build the ENS today. If we can make the science. So, let's take a look at this here. I did start the process of building some storage here. We do have storage for berries, we have storage for brain-boosting salts, green peas, kimchi, and water, which of course are the ingredients required to make the fast science. But kimchi has always kind of been a problem because they just keep consuming it faster than we can make it. And I think there's probably a whole bunch of better ways we could have done this, but honestly, easiest thing we could do is just to pop another fermentation barrel in here and just hope nobody comes by and eats the kimchi before the library people can come in and actually do anything about it. So, among many other things we have to finish, I do think it's worth putting a couple more beavers in the library. Let's go up to 6. Just try to make as much science as we can, get these workers in here, taking the materials from wherever they are. Hopefully they're close by, and some of these are... Did that beaver just teleport here? That's so weird. Okay, well, moving on. They're going to be working on this in due time. I've also received a tip that it's possible we have chestnut trees marked for cutting, which I would absolutely believe based on how things have gone. And yeah, it's these two that I had replanted, so that looks good to go. Let's just double check here. Yeah, see, those are fine. We obviously don't have any trees being planted here. But moving the Everblossoms away from this and turning this into some chestnuts and pines probably was about the best thing we could have done to improve production of all this stuff. We didn't quite double the amount of pine trees we have, but we definitely increased. So that's looking good. I also see there's a comment or two about the berries not being necessarily in the right spot for harvesting, or I guess the other way around, not having adequate gatherer flags. Which, harvester's cottage here, tapper's flag here, gatherer's flag. I actually don't remember where it is. Let's find it with the help of our workplace stuff. Oh, I've got 8 of them. Perfect. Okay, that one's there. Nobody's working there because I don't have enough beavers. This one is here and can reach all of these and is getting those, so that's good. This one over here is, of course, gathering lotus flowers. This one here is gathering lotus flowers. That one is... Huh. Okay, this one, I guess, is pretty important because we have all these... We're just going through berries like gangbusters, man. I need to get new material. I keep saying that too much. That's fine for here. So, you know what? These berries, if I'm correct, are not reachable by a single harvester. And that's a problem because, well, one, this is really good, convenient space. And I'm honestly kind of tempted to get rid of these and replace them with chestnut trees. But I do want to see how well the chestnuts level out, because right now we have almost a full storage. In fact, we do have a full storage. And I think that would be a mistake to get rid of these if we didn't need to. But at the same time, there's no berries available, so maybe they are getting picked up. I honestly do not know. Because the harvester's cottage shouldn't be getting berries. Unless it is. I just can't remember. Oh wait, no, this literally mentions berries. Oh, the picture's okay, you know what? We're gonna move on. I've already roasted myself in my head, and like just unbelievably harder than you can roast me in the comments. But feel free if you so choose. All right, that was embarrassing. District 2, which somehow I keep forgetting to run the name poll on, does not have a storage for lotus flower tea, and the water is empty, which is wait, hold on. No, it totally. Oh, I don't have a dedicated storage, but it's in the is it? No, it must be in the storage of one of these things. It is. Okay. We are producing lotus flower tea, so I don't need a dedicated storage for it right now. I forget who it was who mentioned that, but I did want to make sure I checked that out. So this doesn't seem to have any problems producing water. It's just it's being consumed faster than it really can be dealt with. All right. We have 3 empty beds that will eventually be filled. What are my minimums? 36. I guess I could bump that up to 39, which would make it so that we don't have any babies in here. Let's do that. Just bring those guys over here. And then we just have our 5 empty slots, which could be controlled one way or the other. Sunflower seeds, obviously being a very important thing for us to have access to. Scouting balloon, I don't want to delete them because they take forever to build. But at the same time, I feel like we could maybe make better use of stuff besides having a scouting balloon. And we do have the scouting points to unlock additional balloons. Or to build additional balloons. Like, for example, trading with the iron teeth to get 50 berries. If we have the saltpeter and the methane to do it, might be smart. Now, see, this is an interesting one. See, I don't spend enough time looking at this stuff. The steel saw blades are definitely something we would be going through a lot once we build all those buildings that use that, but we've got brain-boosting salts up to our eyeballs. We could absolutely trade some of those if we felt like it. We talked about solar panels in 1 or 2 of the comments. And I made a comment that said, well, we're pretty far away from having those because we have to have the high-temperature foundry. But we're making fried rice, and we have 1,200 of it. I don't think it would be completely out of the question for us to trade with the amperes and get some solar cells. So let's take a look at... Yeah, there's no mention of glass at all with this. It's just a solar panel array, so it takes 12 to get one of these. What was the trade recipe again? Oh, okay, that's for 1. So to get enough solar panels to build one of those without having a high temperature foundry, you would have to have 12 instances of trading with the amperes, which is going to be what, 1,100 fried rice? No, that's not even close to correct. That's like 600 fried rice. Math is so hard. Which we have it, but that would take us 2 full cycles. It would take us so long. So maybe that's not worth trying to get to. I feel like we really need to get the ENS built, or I'm never going to get it built. And we are going to have the incredibly compact library set soon. We just need to get the science. I don't know if we can get another 1,000 science in one episode, but I think that's what we need to push toward, is getting this thing, because we still have to do all the research to get the degrees, and that's going to just be so much better long term. I do have this on my radar, though, because we're going to want to have this up and running ideally before we get the giant sequoias taken down, because that is going to be really important to use those big logs, because storage for them is very annoying since they have to have dedicated buildings, and those buildings are huge. But this is something we can probably ignore for a little bit of time. The greenhouse, as you see here, takes 69 panes of glass. That's a very specific number. And obviously we can't make glass until we have the high temperature foundry. We're not going to have that until, since I know you guys love this so much every time I do it, we have one of the degrees, which should be metallurgy, yep. And then we have to have 100 blocks of metal, and then all this other stuff that honestly probably won't be that big of a problem. But, like I always say, it's just going to take time, and we need to focus on some other stuff. So, now that we're, 16 minutes into the video, and we're still on single time speed, and we haven't really gotten anything done, let's get that on triple. And then, I guess we just have to wait to have some more explosives. I want to have these mines both operating, so I can stop flip-flopping between coal and iron ore. Because right now we don't have enough of either. And somebody left a comment that I did like, and I can't believe I didn't think of this earlier. We could just, turn on the primitive mine with a single beaver in it to make saltpeter and then the regular salt. It really would not cost that much in terms of labor or time, and this could always be running. And even though it's inefficient, it would still be worth something. Okay. One last thing from the comments that I can remember right now. I made some sort of noise about how much they're pumping, and I wish they wouldn't pump that fast, even when I have everything else turned off. And someone said, "Why don't you just put them in the inefficient water pumps, because that pumps less?" And I wish I had thought of that, because that would have been super easy for us to do. Because I still have 2 of these. This is the upgrade, obviously. And actually, I have more than 2. I've got 4 of those. So the 4 that are operating right now is the efficient ones. I could easily, next time we have a drought, just pop these guys in here. Now, it's not like half of the productivity, but it is, what, 2/3 of it? Which, makes a little bit of a difference. Just keep that in mind here. This mechanized water pump absolutely should have been unpaused, and this is why I shouldn't pause these. But, you know how it goes. So, other things that we've done recently include expanding all of this mess here. And we have had some issues with these guys in the irrigation lodges not having enough water. And at least part of that is definitely due to me not having storage of water nearby. So for mission critical ones like this one right here, I think I am justified in getting that removed and replacing it with just a small tank, so that the worker here can just come right out and grab it and not have to go halfway across the map, because these guys have a very heavy debuff. And then right here, the storage for nenuphars really doesn't need to exist, because they can just take it up here to the fermentation barrel. So you know what goes here? Well, first of all, because this is about to be completely removed, or can be removed, I can put a double dynamite here. Give us 1 more square for nenuphars down there. We'll continue blasting this out as time permits. But if I can get them to place that, and then I can pop in a plank tank, which I don't think they can actually place this back here. I don't know why my brain just shut off until that's done, so I guess we'll just leave that. We'll prioritize that slightly, but this needs to be a tank, so that can get taken care of. And unfortunately, this space right here is going to be polluted until this is complete. And we are still waiting on some pine resin, which will get that taken care of. This will gradually drain out, and then these dams and the dam upgrades and all that can be removed, and then this will be slightly less contaminated just because there's no nasty water here. All in a day's work. And it does, in fact, just take time. But now we have all this space up here that is no longer plantable by our farmhouse, because I removed it so that I could, in turn, put river baths in here that would never dry out. Which, noble pursuit. Obviously a good idea. But I may have been slightly misplaced in my zeal, and kind of hampered our efforts with growing stuff here. And it's true that some of this will be contaminated just by virtue of the nasty water coming out here. But there's enough of this that isn't, that this would really, really be a smart place for us to have some sort of farm working on something. So, if I were to place a farmhouse just right up here, they would have access to basically everything that they had before down there, except it would be up on dry land. And we could start using this for planting instead of wild brambles, because now we have domesticated brambles. All right, so I'm just going to do that. I'm going to put it right next to this. However, don't forget, we have these tower upgrades. And the farmhouse, as we see here, and the irrigation lodge, as we see here, are perfect hosting platforms for the forestry hauling upgrade or something else. But they do have to be offset like this. And this one is not offset. It is, unfortunately, one tile too close for us to really make use of the farmhouse unless this gets pushed back. And because of the relatively small amount of cabbages remaining here, and the fact that this is already clean, I feel safe. I don't feel completely safe. I feel mostly safe going ahead and deleting this. We're going to hit pause so we don't get our brambles, you know, ruining our good time here. But this can get put right here. And then this can get put right here, which means that's the wrong one, which means hauling upgrade or building upgrade. I think I'm going to go with the hauling upgrade. I don't know. You know, let me know if you think that's a bad choice. But this can go. So there we go. Just hit the right spot, please and thank you. That can go right there. And then, yes, we do have to have access to the top here. But now that we know it's possible, we have a couple of different options on how to do that. And I think it's probably just going to be easiest for us to do one of these numbers with the spiral staircase and regular wooden stairs. And there you go. Super simple, super easy. No regrets. And then right here would be a great place to put in a small plank tank for water. And there you go. That's going to make it so much better. So much better. And we'll get one or two more spaces taken care of here. And we can move on. Obviously, that's going to take some time to get taken care of. This here, once again, does not have water for a lot of the same reasons. That's because this does not have anything set to be obtained, and it is also not prioritized. All the little things matter, folks. Everything does. So now, I'm very curious. Now, you are not doing anything because I have not marked these for cutting. So, that was a blunder on my part. But since these haven't spread yet, I feel pretty safe popping these in around here in whatever space I can. Not there. Because they will be continually grown and harvested. And as this says, every 19 hours we can get 2. Which is a whole lot more than 1 for cutting the other ones down. Obviously, it's going to take... if I keep saying it, people are going to get really, really mad. So we're just going to move on. But you know what we're getting at. I think I can get away with putting a couple more right here. Because that is irrigated. This one in the corner might not take off. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Still waiting for them to take care of that. But no, that one hasn't been done either. Because we don't have the dynamite. The dynamite, of course, being made right here. Which needs a nitroglycerin. Nitroglycerin being made right here. Which needs saltpeter. And guess what? At the start of the episode, we did turn this back on. And it is technically making saltpeter. What's the rate? 1 every 10 hours. Obviously, it's an 18-hour day. What's the consumption here? Saltpeter of 1 every 2 hours. Okay. So, this one definitely needs to have more beavers in it. But I do have kind of a limited quantity of beavers available. I do think 1.7. Okay, that's just 2 even. We'll run this 1.7 for right now. 1.7 hours for 1 saltpeter, that is. Try to get ahead a little bit. So much already accomplished. Feels good. Feels quite good. And guess what? This is complete. So we will have to wait probably half a cycle for this to completely dry out, and then we can remove this. That'll help solve a lot of problems. We can slowly reclaim more stuff, depending on what kind of buildings we want to build. We could also seal this off. Or we could send beavers up here and remove some of these blockages so the bad water never has a chance to get over here, which, you know, isn't really going to help that much in the grand scheme of things, but is going to slightly reduce the amount coming through here, which means that this will be less likely to be contaminated from this up here. Will just be coming through all of this mess. All sorts of stuff to keep track of. You know how it goes. But now that we've identified why this was taking so long, excuse me, we're going to be in much better shape. Alright, so we're about to have 5 explosives, which means we should have this one done relatively soon here, because that is prioritized. I can't remember if these are super... They are not. They're not prioritized one bit. Okay, so that's going to help solve that problem. As soon as I see our brambles go in the triple digits and stay there, I think I'm going to feel pretty justified not worrying about this wood felling planification lodge and just clear cutting all of these and not feeling bad about it. Now obviously once the farmhouse is all built, which this is, you already know, we'll get there when we get there. It should be okay. We've got 1300 science. Kimchi once again is the limiting factor, but it is being produced. We do have a decent amount of cabbages. We have a decent amount of bramble flowers. Not enough yet, but we're getting there. And since these are continuously being harvested here, this should hopefully end up being a pretty good, pretty profitable thing. Okay, so someone just needs to come in here and finish constructing this, and then we can blast that out. And we put our plank tank in. That means this will be looking a whole lot nicer. I think they also might want to put these in soon, but that's also not prioritized. I can't remember if I built that before I put all of that in. Excuse me, long day. See, water, not as quick as I would like, but we don't really have the means to put in any more power generation in quite yet. Okay, this is ready. B for boom. Plank tank. Set to water, set to obtain. And that means I can pop in the correct thing there. And we will continue expanding this in due time. Like I said, I just want to make sure I take care of all of our different stuff first. I also think, based on how this is set up here, I would have to do a lot of blasting, but if we did just a single wide trench through here, we'd have to snake it around this, and we'd have to blast this out through to right about here. That may slightly reduce the amount of bad water that is up higher here, which means less of this would be contaminated, which means more of this would be available. Or I could just say, hey, let's put another irrigation tower, but we're already having a hard enough time doing that with the ones we have right now. Probably don't need to be worrying about that super seriously. So let's check out... Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that, folks. We have our incredibly compact library set. Theoretically. I just saw that go to 99% and then 0, and this doesn't say it has one. So maybe that means it's being brought up here? We can only hope, because if that just... There it goes. I was about to say, if that just yoinked an entire, 3 episodes worth of stuff, I might have to go outside. But now we have all of the components for the ENS minus the science. And that, friends, is very, very, very encouraging. Pay no attention to the, the amount of metal blocks or metal fasteners. Wait, oh, no, we actually do. Okay, well now it's just up to the library and the kimchi producers of Beaverburg 26 to give us all the science we need. We're also getting science from the trebuchet, of course. Very slowly, and by very slowly I mean 1 science per hour. But we also are not able to make a lot of waste rocks because I don't have storage for all of the dirt. And why do I not have storage for all of the dirt? Because I never built it. Why did I not build it? Because I didn't think it was a problem. Why did I not think it was a problem? Because we were going to use our dirt to build stuff like this guy. And then also all of this stuff over here. And then also these 2 things here that I still can't click on. Okay, hitboxes are a mess. But this one's almost done. This one still needs 1,000 dirt, which I guess is fine, but I don't really have a storage for it. Because that's just for exotic seeds, which we probably should keep getting. I think I'm going to have to turn those back on. Because we're going to want to have more than 1 tree nursery. Hey, these are growing up now. Nice. Another 8 days and we will have all of our... I've already forgot what that's called. Bamboo shoot, whatever. Hey, it says unbelievably tall bamboo. It's pretty unbelievably tall. Love to see it. Gather a flag, of course, is standing by ready to go. And yes, for those of you who do not remember, in the Waterbeavers mod, not the vanilla game, but the Waterbeavers mod, you can have these flags. As long as they're not completely covered with water, they will still work. So that's why that's the way it is, where it is. That's looking fine. We have this guy squirting the clean water over here to irrigate. Probably could put other water wheels in here. It was just one of those things that you already know. Just takes time. But seeing how this path is laid out, I don't think we need to keep this, at least for right now. And I feel pretty comfortable coming through here and placing additional water wheels to the side. Obviously, we can keep putting them in these other spots. But for right now, this will help us generate additional power, which we do desperately need. And these guys can go above ground to get over here anyway, so you know what? Ooh, almost. So close. I always thought it was really funny that you had to have this underneath, but yeah, it's fine. So that levels that out, and that gives them a wall of wheels. Every last bit of water going through here will generate power, and we can store it with the help of gravity batteries, which are currently actually discharging, and it's day 10, so that's a little concerning. But they'll do what they have to do while this is clean. Let's let them, take advantage of that. Science is up to 1400. Let's see exactly 1415. All right, that works. Do we have this area over here taken care of? No, not yet. So these must have been first. We're not super far off from having all of these put in. I am going to blast all this at once. Hello, balloon. Oh, this is at 20%. Maybe this will be this episode. Who knows? Yeah, they're not even close. Not even close to half of this. This isn't built either. What are my builders doing? I mean, I got a pretty good idea. They're building because I told them to, which is fine. But lots and lots of stuff to consider. I think we need to have more pumps, which we know we already discussed. But I'm trying not to balloon the population too much. You remember the last one we did, the last playthrough of the Waterbeavers? I think I had like 700 something at the end, which is a lot. And that's because I really, really don't understand a lot of the best ways to make this an efficient playthrough with all these buildings that are all houses and all require workers and all that. But there's still some stuff we can take care of, hopefully. The easiest thing for us to do to boost well-being is just to build decorations, but again, everything is so spread out, it makes it really, really, really hard. But, the petanque is only being used by 20 beavers, Trebuchet by 37, which is honestly more than I thought, given how far away it is. Lido's by 28. It's going to be one of the easier things we can do, is just to build some of these where we have access to the river. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, it hasn't been a super huge priority for me because of how all of this has been laid out in a pretty lackluster, pretty poor fashion. But once I can relocate these river baths, I think one of those could go right here very nicely. And that would be pretty easily reachable. And the rest of this maybe could get blasted out if I have additional explosives, which at this moment in time I don't. But will hopefully soon. I need more kimchi. I need them to escalate the kimchi production expeditiously. And I don't want to get just... What's the word? I don't know, I forgot. So, now I get to look stupid, but that's fine. I'll just build a couple more of these here. This is still pretty close to what we have going on up here. Should be fine. It's pretty awful land anyway because everything's polluted. Just do what we can do. That's all you can. So 3 additional ones making kimchi should help. And hey, we have only 6 explosives left until we have to have this taken care of. I can't detonate these because that will make that inaccessible. Look at the brambles already up over triple digits. Being replanted, being harvested, lather, rinse, repeat. Has me feeling pretty good about stuff. Now the injuries, up to 9 here, do give me a slight pause because we have these guys here. We're making a bunch of half-fermented sake, but it's all disappearing. And it doesn't seem like it's going into the medical beds. In fact, we don't have any beavers in here because I deprioritized it, but... See, once again, we got a whole lot of beavers that can't work because they're incapacitated, and they can't work because they're burned, or they have injuries, or they have severe injuries that we can't do anything about yet. So if we come back over here, so these guys had been held back by pine resin, and I know pine resin is very important for other things as well, but I feel like with the amount we added here, it should be fine. See, this keeps running out of water, and I know I had this set up here. Ah, okay. They're sleeping. Alright, it happens. But the amount of pine resin here that still hasn't been harvested makes me think that this guy right here probably could use a helper. Maybe. I mean, they're working, but it's clearly not enough. And I don't think I want to build a ton more pine trees. Like, I feel like this probably should be enough. But if it's not, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Just eventually get it taken care of. The chestnuts are not being used nearly as quickly as I thought they would. But that's not necessarily a good thing. Because theoretically, we should be blasting through these things. Because we have 2 of these mechanized kitchen houses running the same recipe that uses 3 chestnuts every 2 hours. So again, 18-hour day, obviously, it's not going to be 100% efficient, but in fact, these are only like 57%. That's not very good. It's just, like, we should be going through so many more chestnuts than we are. But I struggle to find a single ingredient that's lacking with this. Obviously, the transportation of goods could be substantially improved. But we have everything right here. So I think it's just an issue of the haulers either don't have enough haulers to do everything, which I would absolutely believe is true, or they're just fundamentally inefficient. It says 63%, 68%, 74%, 6%. Oh, sunflower oil. Yep, okay. I believe that. But you know what? We don't even have a storage for sunflower oil on this side of this map. That's a huge mistake. Okay, easiest thing for us to do probably is just to build a small tank over here and have it set for the haulers. Probably. I'm sure there's better ways to do it, but that might help. Maybe just a touch. This still has not been built. Okay, yep. No surprise there. But one more explosive. One more, and then we can blast this out. We can start building the next medium mine here. Things continuing, hopefully, to go nicely. I mean, this is almost evaporated. A couple more days, we should be fine. And we should be getting a warning for a drought or bad tide, but I guess not today, so we're going to have the full, maybe 16 days if we get it on the start of day 14. Not really too much to complain about there. So, alright, the bramble numbers are increasing. I think I'm going to feel pretty comfortable eliminating this bramble patch in favor of this being berries. So, I need to make sure all of this is marked. And I think we're going to have to give them some help. Unless we have a drought. If we have a drought, that's going to make it easy, because then these could just be plucked out of the ground and they won't respawn. But I will start making moves to get this completely harvested. Can't really stop the spread of the wild brambles without also stopping the spread of the blueberries. We just have to hope these can be removed effectively. That would also allow me to take this wood felling planification lodge out of here and hopefully have some good berries and move on from there. It has been such a long and arduous road, getting to the point where just adding this many domesticated brambles has helped us so incredibly much. It's honestly really great to see. But now we're just waiting on this one last piece of explosives that will come in and allow us to detonate everything here, build our mine, and keep it moving with everything else. Now, I should also note that beyond just, the amount of the area that is the pit here, we do still need to have this blasted out so the fence can be there. So, that will have to be done, and that does include taking these 2 trees out here, which currently can be accessed from over here. We just have to have a lumberjack flag, which I will place here for convenience. And cut these trees down and move on with our lives that way. So, yes, this is ready to go. No, I'm not going to blast it quite yet, because I would like to do all of that at once. Just have to have that taken care of. Yeah, a couple more days and we're going to have our minty bamboo shoots. Those will need a storage. Okay, bad tide in 3 days. Alright, we can deal with that. How are we doing here? If we have 2 of these built, working on a 3rd. We are making more power than we're using, which means this should be going up, but it is always just so slow. These are really low also. Well, okay, bad tide will continue generating power. We're just going to have to see what other stuff we can do with that, but they can get this finished. That's going to be nice. I would love to have more water. Again, everything just takes time. Still haven't built this. Well, it is what it is. Don't think I should really be too upset about any of this. Alright. I'm going to put this one on berries instead of that, because I think berries are going to be more useful in the long run. Yeah, see, this is already making a little bit better strides. Obviously, it's not going to matter until this is a bad tide, and then half of this is dead anyhow. That hopefully should put this to bed once and for all. We won't have to worry about anything else. Just keep this as berries. Provided that the berries also don't die. Actually, they won't be bad tided. That's right, because this is completely safe. This will just be less irrigated if this runs out of water, which it probably will. Oh, so much to think about. So many things to take care of. Alright, this needed to have a tank put in place, and I had not done that, so thanks for the reminder on that. Still nowhere near ready to go. But this is still irrigated, and it's going to be fine, except once this turns into nasty water, this will kill basically all of this. But don't worry, that's okay, because we want these wild brambles to go away anyhow. And these guys can just keep on going and take care of all of this without worrying about, ruining anything. Because now that we have the domesticated brambles, they can just go forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, and we don't have to worry about it ever again. Get this cleaned up, get a lot more farming space. Always a better idea. Now, seeing how bad water is going to be coming through here, we will have cause for concern with the rest of this. But if they can get this water wheel complete by then, I think they should be able to. Let's just check individual. Yeah, they'll be fine. They just have to, do it. If not, this might need to be paused, because then these guys will get just absolutely destroyed by bad water. But this floodgate dam does need to go up. I'm just saying it out loud now so I can remember to do it later. And we should, very soon, next day or two, have minty bamboo shoots, which is what I was going to try and find a place to stick those. Oh, you know what we can do here is we can put some more domesticated brambles. That would be a good place for that. This obviously is already taken, that's fine. But this is land that can be used. We already knew that. This piece of dirt is already in. This one's almost halfway in. Yeah, see, this isn't going to be enough, but at least we will have bad water continue making power for us. Ah, I know why it didn't happen, is because this is too far. Wait, what? Oh, they can't. Okay, alright, well, they can't reach that. That's fine. I will just remove this. We won't worry about it. It saves us a little bit of grief. Alright. Oh, this hasn't even been... What are my builders doing? Okay, let's... well, obviously they're not working right now, but... I wonder what they're actually building if they're not building anything that I've been needing them to build. Okay, why is a builder carrying pollution resistance factor all the way over to that storage and not actually building? That I don't understand. And now it's morning time and they can't even go to sleep. They live in the factory. Okay. Alright, yeah, go to bed at noon. Yeah, that works out great every time I've ever done it. I said with the massive, most sarcastic voice possible. Alright, now they're okay, so clearly this layout leaves a lot to be desired. But it is what it is. We have 1,700 science. I did not think this was going to go quite this well. So, last day before the bad tide. I do need to make sure that everything else is looking fine here. This is actually completely dry. Obviously, this is still polluted because of all of this stuff, but this can be removed, and this can be removed. And yes, we only technically gained about 3 spaces here, but you will notice that this is not connected. Not infected. There you go. So, every little bit counts. They can grab all these things off the ground if they feel so inclined. That will help boost our sunflower output, which of course is desperately needed. Once again, this is not completed yet. That's fine, I guess. Water is not looking fantastic either, but it is what it is. The builders continue doing whatever the heck they want, I suppose. Okay, you're carrying... Oh, I know what it is. It's this. I really should not be upset, because I literally told them to do this. Oh well. We have a third of a day. Let's put that floodgate dam all the way up so we don't have any chance of polluting anything. This and this both need to be adjusted. I feel like this is fine to go ahead and just start diverting now, so we don't have to worry about it later. There we go. And if that's not flowing, that means that, nope, not the gravity battery. That means this can be brought all the way up, because there's no other source going into it. Which then means, yes, I know, the mechanized water pump can be paused. And then these water pumps... I have to pause this for my own sanity. I'm sorry. Those can be taken care of. We'll just relocate all the beavers. And life goes on. So, now you can see all this mess happening here. Unfortunately, this is now poisoned, but it's okay because everything will be just fine. No more water can be pumped here, but it's only a 4-day bad tide. We're going to be fine. Going to be just fine. So, actually, you know, seeing that, I'm going to unpause this, because if this empties out in 4 days, even at all, that's going to be good news for us. No real cause for concern there. And I, unfortunately, thought that this was going to do a whole lot more damage to the wild brambles than it actually has. So maybe this is going to have to just wait for another time. You know, because I would love to have this actually be planted as other stuff. Because, of course, now this is all going to be dead. I'll tell you what. If I plant these empty spaces that exist now, then the game's not going to care. And it just won't let the brambles harvest themselves there. I can't plant here where these wild brambles are not dead yet, but once they do die, I can just plant there, and when it gets clean, it'll get taken care of. If it doesn't, then, well, who cares? You just have to win the war of attrition one piece at a time. Very slow process, but, again, it is what it is. Yeah, we'll just have to remember that we've done that. Just a little bit at a time there. Okay, so this, I was maybe slightly worried that this would start getting, you know, polluted, but our bamboo is fine, and we should have, and we do, Minty bamboo shoots, and now we can't store any because we don't have space for it. So what do we do about that? Well, we have kind of limited options in this exact area here. But before we get too excited, let's not forget we have some space over here we're trying to transform with the help of explosions. And this area over here, if it's going to be polluted all the time, would be great for storage. We just have to be able to get there. Slowly. One piece at a time. Any other spots I can do this with? I don't think so. I think this is about as good as this is going to get for the time being, unless I am just really on top of it, dragging across over this to quote-unquote plant cabbages to try and get these things not to, you know, take any more space. All right. They're building... Hey, they built the farmhouse. Nice. Which means those can actually be planted. Slowly, 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 slowly. We will get it taken care of. We'll get these things choked off. And then we can just do whatever we want. But I can't spend the entire episode messing with this. I can have this one farming beaver try to take care of everything. Slowly, again. But every little bit counts. As we fill in this checkerboard pattern here, more and more and more, then these individual things will be isolated out. And they won't really have a chance to spread ever again. Just get that popped in there. And we'll get there. We will get there. 1800 science. I do think we're going to be able to at least place the ENS. It's not going to get finished this episode for sure, but plenty to be pretty happy with. Kimchi is... Actually, right now, we don't have enough cabbages. They haven't been brought in yet. All right, well, that's just going to take what it's going to take. We're closer to 1900 science, though, so that's good. Let's find a spot to put the ENS. And I really don't know where I want it to go. Wow, this takes up like half the screen. This is a big building. And there's really not a lot of great spots to do it. But we have this space over here that is pretty barren. If we were able to clear a little bit more land, or put in platforms or something, over here might not be a terrible choice. I think I would only have to have 2 platforms here and here. Please hold. Thank you for holding. Hopefully my mute button still works. I don't know why I always get paranoid about that, but this right here is probably going to be the best place for this at this time. We could always move it somewhere else, but when we get our 2000 science, that's where that's going to go. And we do have anvils. We have medium cauldrons. We have laboratory glassware. We have the incredibly compact library set. We have the blueprints. We do have 100 metal. We do have 40 planks. We have... That's not planks. 40 gears. We have 200 something metal fasteners. We have more than 500 planks. We have more than 100 logs. We can have the ENS. We just have to actually build it. So, leave that alone. They still have not gotten to this yet. Bless their hearts. This continues to be what it continues to be. But are we in a range of farms here? Yes. So, at least for right now, I do think it is going to be time to plant some of this. Not all of this. Some of this with cabbages just to help stave off the inevitable with all of these brambles spreading everywhere. We need to have more domesticated ones, obviously. But one step at a time, just like we've done over here. That's not the right spot. Just like we've done over here. Actually making some decent progress in some of these spaces. Again, if we can isolate some of this, that's really going to help in the long run. So 1.3 days left. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and time-lapse just a little bit of this so that we can have some cabbage replacement done. You will hear me clicking while I'm talking here because I haven't actually sped up the footage yet in post, but it's probably the only reasonable way to get this accomplished. And if I just had this sitting here for like 5 straight minutes of me doing this, then people don't want to see that. So I will catch you on the other side of the cabbage time-lapse, and that hopefully will be the end of the bad tide. Alright, so brief time-lapse, yes, I know, but we did manage to get a little bit more of that taken care of. I kind of thought it would be a little quicker, and I would be able to get more earmarked, but that's fine, is what it is. we're at the point now where we're going to have to start getting these things returned to normal anyway. But we did manage to get through that short bad tide while technically running out of water, but not actually running out of water. So that, I believe, is to be celebrated. Okay. This is just about clear enough for it not to matter, but the water all flows through anyway, so send it. About to be cleaned through here in very short order. And then, of course, this has stayed clean because this was properly dealt with. Always, always love to see that. But this is a tremendous amount of improvement from where we were before. And obviously, there's still more to be done here, but every single one of these we remove is one that will not come back. Let's get this brought all the way down here. As soon as this runs clean, then we can open this again. And we will continue to plant domesticated brambles as time allows. We just need to have the rest of this dealt with, which this beaver currently is, I guess, on their way to work, maybe? Yep, there we go. Already hungry, but yeah, just please cut down these trees. I need it. I need it desperately. Don't quite have enough water here for those to be running. That's fine. I did swap these guys into the less efficient pumps, which may not be a super popular choice, but nonetheless, what we did. Anyhow, just have to keep an eagle-eyed watch over all of this to try and get even just a single square recovered. It's a whole lot to keep up with, but we are making progress, no matter how slow. And that's what matters. Better news is, this is set, ready to go. This can be set to permanently depollutionize everything. And there you go. One step at a time. Another exciting news, we have a 1974 science, and that is continuing to go quite smoothly. This can get popped in here. This tree should be next. Well, maybe. Everything looking good here. We still don't have storage for the minty bamboo shoots, but we're also not using them yet. So, don't think that is going to be super cause for concern. Let's put these triples here. Continue doing what we're doing. Dynamite is a slow process, but it is a process. Sunflower oil is kind of lagging slightly. This can be swapped back over, but we definitely need to get more sunflowers, which again is why I'm trying to plant some more stuff in here and retain additional space. See this right here, this bugs me. It bugs me. These are going to die because this is overnight and there's no water in here. Because we somehow still have not managed to get this properly supplied. Yeah, this is like that is tremendously annoying. But again, what can you do? It just it's going to be annoying. It just always is. This happens constantly. Trying and failing, I guess, to make this actually viable over here, but now it has water, just in time for, you know, 50 plants to die. Fighting a losing battle against yourself never ends up being an enjoyable experience, but at least I can finally put that there, which means I'll have 3 of these, which gets rid of these. We won't have to worry about that again. It's not super convenient to get in here, but I mean, I guess it's not that bad. This will end up having to go away, though, or at least moved. That nobody's using that or that. Sorry, go take a shower somewhere else. If I am able, I think I would like to put in that one more level that way. Come straight across here, which means that can go away. And that. And then this, and that, and that. And this technically doesn't need to be here. Yeah, so that can get collected, hopefully. Just prioritize this because I know it's going to turn into a thing. Then the Lido, that's not a Lido, that's a rooftop terrace. I forget it gets relocated. It's under irrigation. Yeah, it always trips me up. This will fit very nicely right here. Right at that intersection, and I mean, this does accept a water dump. You don't need it. You really don't, but it's fine there. Okay, let's just pop this in. That hopefully will be an asset to the beavers in a short order. And I've got... No, I think I missed opportunities to put a couple of these in here, because of course that just keeps coming back. But we have almost corralled all of this mess in here. And we are planting additional cabbage. Whether we need the cabbage specifically or not, that is a problem to decide later. It's just a convenient way to try and reclaim more space. That, of course, continues being what it is. So, in a world where this is not arable land because it's contaminated, this is going to be our best spot to put more storage. Which, of course, does have to have time to get built. But we have 2,000 science, 2077 in fact. Let's unlock the ENS and pop that guy right there. Yeah, it's kind of neat looking right next to that. So, recipe-wise, we choose between science points, bachelor's in agronomy, master's in metallurgy, pilot's licenses, that's for the blimps, PhD in nuclear physics, PhD in robotics, clockwork robotics, controllers, and processors. Actually, let's hit pause because I just had a horrible thought. What if we didn't duplicate these? And I don't want to have to do that again. So we need ENS architectural blueprints and mechanical blueprints to show up here with more than duplicates. Okay, there's 2 of those mechanical ones. There's 2 of the architectural ones. I would rather see that number be higher than 2, but it is not 1, which means we can keep building this. All right, crisis averted. And now we have we got haulers here. Cool. I will deprioritize that just because we have so much else going on. But baby steps, folks. We are, in fact, looking pretty good. Same kind of story over here. Just identifying spots that can be kind of contained. And slowly free this area from the control of the brambles. I do see these numbers slightly going down. But that's okay, because we have plenty of other things to do to help solve that problem. Yeah, now we're replanting sunflowers here. Really would like to have more, but... We are trading every 2.5 days for more sunflower seeds. We have plenty of lotus flower tea, plenty of methane ready to go. I honestly probably should build another one for trade with the folktales, but for right now, I think we have bigger fish to fry, so to speak. Okay, this needs to be lowered. I did forget to do that, but now that's fine. This is just missing a single explosive, which it does not have because I think it's waiting on this, but that's fine. This guy has nothing else to do. There's logs on the ground, man. Like, oh, because it's got 18 logs here. It can't pick up the 3 that's on the ground. Well, eventually, everything will get picked up. This get emptied, and then, of course, that beaver can go do something else. I know we have 58 vacancies. It's fine. It's going to be okay. Don't need to worry about it. Just would like to have that taken care of. And I do have water there. Well, it has to be prioritized, but I do have it set there. This can also be prioritized so that water would be closer at the very least. Once again, baby steps. But we're looking better than we did when we started this episode, and that is what matters. So I think the biggest hang up here... Wait a second, I don't see a medium cauldron. No, okay, we have one. That's fine. Biggest hang up here is going to be just transporting all of these individual materials all the way from across the map. So they could probably use a cut through over here. And yeah, there's probably not like a really great way to do this, but if I just put that here, this will connect. I've been told this doesn't work the same way in Update 7, but for now it does. So that's fine. Once this goes away, this will just get connected straight through, and that'll be a nice cut through for those guys. Alright, I do need to make sure I put in additional cabbages here before these start reclaiming space. Yeah, we're getting really close to eradicating this stuff. More over here as well. And yes, I do want this to eventually, you know, be berries only. But I do have limited capacity to handle all this while also doing everything else. Soon, though. Yes, the bramble's going down very, very, very quickly, very dangerously. But don't worry. we have plenty of space over here once we, you know, blast a little bit more of it out. That should be just fine. We still don't have dynamite, really? Okay, let's see. This needs more nitroglycerin. No surprise there. Sunflower oil. The eternal nemesis of everything in this playthrough. Despite having 3 of these, we just do not have enough sunflower seeds to make sunflower oil to do absolutely everything. And these guys also are using it to treat burns. But we only have 6 with minor burns. I've got 12 with just regular injuries. So what is the deal? What is happening here? I guess it's just the haulers don't have enough stuff to move around. This is still brewing. Probably need to have a whole bunch more of these. And I know there's nobody in here, but that's because we don't have enough beavers. Don't have enough beavers. Well, could be worse. Could always be worse. Some is being harvested here. Nobody's here harvesting these berries, once again, because we don't really have enough beavers. How do I have a homeless beaver in here? Oh, okay, it's because the contaminated adults aren't being sent to the other districts. By the other districts, I mean the only other district. Let's just create, you know, crisis-proof stuff. Minimum of 100 contaminated beavers in the regular districts. They can't actually be treated there. And that prevents the homeless beavers. We just have 5 empty jobs. And one of these, see, I got 4 of those guys. I only have 2 workers there. But this is already, I guess I could just deprioritize that. That should help take care of the rest of these jobs. So I do have dedicated haulers. There we go. Now we can get some berries. Water is looking pretty good. Still waiting on some more dynamite to be made, but I can at least blast this out. I have to be careful with this, because this has to go away first, and then that goes away, because that's where the stairs are. But before that goes away, I have to blast this out, because they won't be able to reach it otherwise. And this is ready to go. So, nobody walk on this, please, and thank you. There you go, folks. Nice and simple, nice and easy. This cannot be placed here because I haven't flipped the building. Okay. Rotate. Beautiful. Staircase in. Path in. And there you go. This one is set to iron. This one will be set to coal, which it already is. That's going to help us so much. I would say you have no idea, but I know all of you do. So that is fine. How's the ENS looking? Okay, making good progress except for the cauldrons. The cauldron might actually be in this other district. And it is. Okay. Let's force import the cauldron. Or I could just make another one, honestly. Though, you know what? Yeah. I'll just make another one. See, that's set to metal blocks. That's set to drill bits, which we do need. That is set to metal blocks. Surprise, you're making cauldrons now. This reminded me of that meme. Okay, why is this guy still here? There's nothing to cut down. Or it's like the poorly drawn character on the assembly line, and it's like circles or triangles or whatever. It's like, oh, I guess we're making circles now. And then that got turned into all sorts of other stuff. The internet is a very, very strange place. Okay, that hasn't been dealt with yet. I see. I need to just shut up and build a storage for this, honestly. But I wanted it to be a slightly, you know what? I don't care. Medium warehouse right here. I know it can't be accessed yet, but I need to just go ahead and do it. Minty bamboo shoots just makes sense in this exact spot, because that is how this is going to go across once the paths are all put in place. In fact, that... well, there's land in the way, but that'll eventually connect there. Okay, yeah. It still might take a little bit. I'd like to have that finished by the end of this episode. I guess we'll see. We're already in an hour, 12 minutes, and 35 seconds on my recording clock, but... Hey, did we eradicate this stuff? I think we did. That's cool. You know what that means? Is that I no longer... Oh, that's dead. Okay, well, guess what? It's going to be removed. I no longer have to worry about the wild brambles. Oh, there's actually... there's a little bit over there I'm not going to be able to reach. Is this farmhouse not reaching there? Okay. So... Problem solved. No other little stragglers hiding anywhere. Doesn't seem like it. Oh, I could blast this down if I just remove that blockage. Let's do that. Just slowly reclaim a little bit more space. This is going to need to have at least partially sunflower seeds. So I will make, I guess, all of these closest to here should probably be made into sunflowers. Because we're not going to need to have this many cabbages, basically ever. So if I just do that bit right here. Yeah, these can all just be replanted as sunflowers. It should be fine. This area over here probably also should get replanted as sunflowers. I was just trying to, you know, corral everything else. But what's the range on this? Okay, well, if the fence goes away, that should improve, which I can get that out. Yeah, now it can reach everything. How about that? How about that? All right, sunflowers it is. This I will also unplant now that we have mostly recovered all of this. Anything that can be removed will. Then the rest of that will just become whatever it needs to become. Yes, sunflowers, absolutely. This, I would still like to have it become blueberries, but the rest of this stuff over here, you better believe it. I'll just leave that alone there. Cool. So that is nice progress to have. This is now disconnected from a path, which may not be the smartest choice I've ever made. Let's get that reconnected. Cool. Still looking pretty good. No real complaints here. This is going quicker than I thought it would. Medium cauldron, though, still being made. Needs more scrap metal, which we do have. Just has to be brought in. And I know I only have 4 beavers working here. And I keep wanting to just add more beavers, man. Well, that will have to get prioritized. Okay. Yeah, this... I know our builders are just absolutely all over the place, and one of the things they have to finish is this terrain block, but probably for the sake of, you know, the rest of the playthrough, is pretty important that this get removed, and then the rest of that get brought in. These guys now no longer have a purpose. Goodbye. Get all that stuff cleaned up. This, once again, being turned into sunflowers whenever we can. Very slowly, but steadily. Yep, those being harvested by the entity I forgot could do that. Is what it is. Berries being made here very slowly, or not at all, because we don't have enough materials in here. And somehow we still... Now it's the burns. The burns are crashing. Because we don't have... See, everything comes back to sunflower oil. It really, really does. So I do hope you can kind of forgive me on... Well, not kind of forgive me, but... I do hope you can forgive me on all of this mess. This does have to be reconnected pathwise. You know, I guess this is fine to have this connected here because it does go everywhere else. But now this, yeah, we have all of this space for sunflower. That's not what I wanted to click for sunflowers. You love to see it. This wooden gate can be removed as well. We've conquered so many things here. And this is going to be polluted until the end of time, most likely. But progress is being made. Alright, this needs to be a triple. So, let's bring in the triple. How close are we here? Wow. Medium cauldron and 11 planks. That is so much faster than I thought it could be. One of these days I'll remember where all the stuff is on my own map. Okay. 2 more scrap metal and then 12 hours in the factory to make a medium cauldron. I believe very strongly that that is possible. In fact, it's already started. Looking good. Looking very, very good. Now, power still needs to be increased. I think I am confident enough in our dynamite situation to start doing another thing here. So let's do this. Let's put in that there, and I can start building water wheels out of the way. Just those two. And then eventually, just get everything connected nicely. And while this is disconnected, we should go ahead and put in a couple more of these here and here. Should be pretty straightforward. That gets blasted away. And then we'll just wait for that. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. Everything is working. Slowly, but it is working. This, of course, is taking time. But now all we need is the medium cauldron, which should be complete very, very soon. In fact, it might even already be complete. So I guess we will sit here and wait for that last beaver to bring us our medium cauldron eventually and get this ENS locked, loaded, ready to go. And that's going to have storage infrastructure to get everything taken care of. But we haven't even decided what degree we're going to research first. I was going to do that earlier and I got distracted. I know, shocker. But I think it's probably going to be smartest to do metallurgy. But we'll take a look. I just don't want to miss them finishing this. It looks like we're about to get some dynamite popped in here as well. But now that the medium cauldron does exist in the same district, we should see, yep, there that warning went away. We should have this inbound momentarily, and then it just has 10% of a construction sequence left to complete. And we will be in business. Be looking at it very, very, very good indeed. Alright, so don't make me a liar here. Where's my beaver carrying the giant metal cauldron? Or I guess the medium cauldron. That can be boomed, which means that can be attached there. And then this now gets to be the primary objective. It looks like we've got our cauldron. Yep. And now we just have 10% construction left to complete. Hopefully that gets done sooner rather than later. We'll see that number change. But I guess they're working on all the rest of this stuff first. There we go. Okay, that's actually going pretty slowly. Let's slip in a triple dynamite here while we still can. 94. Come on. 95. Come on. 96. 97. 98. Stop narrating it. Nope. I'm going to do it. 99. And 100. There we go. So, that's our ENS. If you pay close attention, you'll notice every single component of this is a base game object or something else in Waterbeavers that has just been kind of smashed together, but it still looks pretty cool. Observatory, plank thing, explosives factory. No, that's the printing press. That's the explosives factory. This is one of those 2x2, 3x3 things. And then underneath here is one of those other buildings blown up. But we have all these different recipes. The bachelor's in agronomy used to be required for the tree nursery, but now it's required for the wine cellar. Come on. Required for the wine cellar, and then the GMO growing lab, which is right here. And then when we get into this mess, the advanced sawmill does not require one, nor does the centrifuge, nor does the firefly grooming station or the greenhouse or any of that. But you get into this, and I think there's a couple of these that require degrees, or am I just misremembering? I guess I'm misremembering. All right, we'll chalk that up to insanity taking hold. The high temperature foundry with the masters of metallurgy is going to be our ticket. And I think that is the next thing we need to be looking into just based on everything else. Because remember, this is how we get glass. And glass gives us solar panels, which gives us free quote-unquote energy during the day. And then once we have the other stuff taken care of, then we can get into just so much more. Basic nuclear reactor. Getting so excited I can't even speak right. PhD in nuclear physics. And then, of course, the abyssal nuclear reactor requires 2 of those. Now, unlike regular blueprints or whatever, each degree has to be researched separately. So, if we take a look at the recipes, I really should have just done this way. This gives us 2 bachelors in agronomy, which is going to give us 1 GMO lab and 1 wine cellar. I guess 2 for the price of 1 degree. Value-oriented education there. Masters in metallurgy, pilot's licenses, PhD in nuclear physics, PhDs in robotics, all separately researched. But the masters of metallurgy, everything that this needs, with the exception of the scrap metal and the methane, we already have. So I think that's going to be the smart thing to do. They obviously can't start researching until all the stuff is there, but we should be fine. It says no workers available in district because we have so many. We have 72 vacancies, but we have 34 incapacitated beavers. Because we can't manage, because we don't have sunflower oil. Now you see. Now you see why it's so important to have all these sunflowers. You're probably just absolutely, just unbelievably tired of me talking about sunflowers, but they're important. They really are. Also, a lot of these empty jobs are just deprioritized hauling upgrades. 1, 2, there's not one here. And this one has not been deprioritized. So 20 of those can be ignored. Probably another 20 of those can also be ignored because they're buildings that do not require something to be operating. So in reality, we're probably only down about 5 or 10 in terms of actual, assuming everyone's healthy, beaver availability, which isn't nearly as bad as you think it is. We just have to get more sunflowers so we can have the mild disease and the minor burns treated. Which means I think I'm going to have to bring beavers back into these fermentation barrels to get us some more half-fermented sake. I hate to do it, but at the same time, it has to be done. So we need to take beavers out of other spots, and I think, given how this is going, it's going to make sense to take them out of the water pumps. Now, we have homeless beavers as a result of doing this, but don't forget, we have other buildings that will house beavers and still do pretty valuable jobs if we have everything else taken care of accordingly. Architects' lodges are still pretty important for us to have scaffoldings, but they're not important enough for me to unpause them right now. What we can do instead is just take a look at all the rest of these jobs, make sure that there's, any shrinkage we can or cannot do, and then move on to other stuff that might have higher capacities for housing with lower quantities of beavers actually working. Remember, these previously were paused a lot, which is probably where some of this nonsense came from. But they are, at this time, except this one, fully employed. And I don't think I want to take anybody away from that. This same kind of story here, same kind of story here. And we are still going through planks really, really fast, so I don't want to mess with that. But these water pumps, deep water pumps, regular water pumps, whatever, all being 3 dwelling, 1 working, not really a great ratio. But what is, for these guys, the pit and ladder lodges, housing 6 and having 3 workers, which that's not really that different, but it's one building that houses 6 beavers, and these are 3 high-value jobs for builders, for haulers. Well, okay, it's only the builder one that was 3. This one's 2. Am I even making sense? Probably not, but that's fine. That's the way it goes. We can also trim the workers in the library. Nobody lives here. I did get rid of this, which was housing some beavers. Anyway, point being, I probably should build another builder's tower segment on top of one of these things. We do have this guy way under here, housing 6 of them, and the ENS does not house beavers. I don't know if it did at any point in the past, but regardless. This is the part where I build a builder's tower segment on this, which I may end up having to build scaffolding to actually have them construct. There's some sort of thing about they couldn't build up infinitely, but I digress. That's going to be 3 more jobs, yes, but it will give us all of these beavers a place to exist and keep filling additional job slots. So that should be priority numero uno, getting that done. This is ready to get blasted. This is not quite ready to get blasted, but this needs workers. We need to just keep shoving beavers in wherever they're going to fit. And I guess I should probably prioritize this too. Anyway, the builders are severely lacking. We need more of those guys. But it's probably about time for us to end this episode. I wanted this to be working. It would have been really, really great. Obviously, the rest of this is going to be what it's going to be. I do need to make sure that we have all of this being done appropriately as well. I just have to have so much more stuff allocated in a better way that I don't really have. Why am I whispering? I digress. It's probably best that we just go ahead and end this now, while we're still semi-coherent. But yes, I really appreciate you guys watching these videos, giving me some good, helpful feedback, calling out mistakes when they happen, and giving me some ideas that I never would have thought of myself. We've gotten a lot done today. Second mine, the second medium mine, the ENS, fixing a whole bunch of pathing issues, fixing a whole bunch of bramble issues, and yes, we are still very low on those, but we're going to be fixing it very, very, very soon. That gets blown up there, which means that is gone, which means that is gone, which means that's gone, which means not that, which means that's gone, not that. All right, you know what? I'm just gonna have to move the camera again. These hitboxes are killing me. Okay, that's done, that's done, that's done. That's done, which means now I have a storage for minty bamboo shoots, which means we can get across here, which means this is all perfect and everything is fine for the rest of time. Beautiful. And the pit and ladder lodge builder tower segment's almost done, which means we're going to have more jobs for beavers. And housing for all the homeless beavers we have right now, plus 2 more. And a bad tide's coming, and proms tomorrow. I digress. But yes, I literally cannot do this without the support of the beard boosters subsidizing the channel and making it possible to do the super long playthroughs more or less every single day, minus those that we're doing with Roller Coaster Tycoon in the colony reviews. It really is not possible without the support of those folks, and I am truly grateful that they choose to support the channel and make it, you know, an ad-free, well, sponsor-free, I should say. It's still ad-supported videos, but you get what I'm trying to say. I've said this every single video. I've uploaded, I don't know, 1,200 videos at this point, and it's been 27 and a half months since I started the channel memberships, and there's a couple folks that have been here since day one, and I don't know, it means a lot to me that you guys choose to support me and the channel and all the fun stuff we're having here. But I'm rambling, and we have 2.6 days left until we have this bad tide coming in, so that's going to be a problem for us to tackle on Monday's video. Whatever you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you later. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.